ABC Matt here with a new Vinyl Finds video with some records that maybe aren't all that new, but these are all record store finds from the months of September and October, and let's go ahead and get into these. This first group is from Brian Lee's mini record store in Greenville, Illinois, which unfortunately is not around any longer. Brian just couldn't keep up with the store, had other things going on. That's not his full-time job, and he's got a family with a pretty new baby, so he's putting that on the back burner for now, may pick it up later, but he sold out all of his stock in the store, and so I went in and picked some stuff up. He had everything half off and marked down, so I went through and grabbed some stuff. First up, we have Brenda Patterson with Keep On Hanging On. This was 50 cents. This says on the back promo copy, if you can see their demonstration not for sale. It's just the standard yellow Epic label though, so not a promo label. I don't know. Kind of a blues rock album. I haven't listened to it yet, but from what I've read, she gets comparisons to Janis Joplin, some to Grace Slick, so I don't know who she sounds like yet. But I know Steve Darr has this album and likes it, so if he likes it, can't be bad, right? Then next up we have James Griffin with Breaking Up Is Easy, another 50-cent grab. Also has a DJ promo copy. It's not a promo copy on the label though, so I don't know what's going on there. This is on Polydor. James Griffin was from the group Bread, which I'm a big fan of. I know some people can kind of take or leave them, but I'm a big fan. I haven't listened to this album yet either. I haven't even cleaned it up, so not sure what it sounds like, but I'm going to assume it's soft rock along the lines of Bread. This is Eric Anderson with About Changes and Things. This is a great folk album. This was 50 cents. It's on the Vanguard label. Excellent label. Really, really good quality records as well. They really hold up. Usually I find them in good shape too. They were, taken care of by the people that bought these, generally speaking. Big fan of the Vanguard label. The one exception being Joan Baez. I know I may get some backlash for that, but I'm not a huge Joan Baez fan. I think the only album that I have from her that I'm going to hold on to is Any Day Now, which is her covering all Bob Dylan songs, but otherwise I can kind of take or leave her. But anyway, this is Eric Anderson. Really, really good folk stuff. I suggest you look this guy up on YouTube. Really good stuff. This is the Peppermint Rainbow, Will You Be Staying After Sunday, which was kind of their minor hit. This was 50 cents. Not really even sure why I picked this up because it is pretty beat up. And as Bo said when I told him that I found this, he said, "You paid what a mint copy goes for," which is absolutely true. This is sunshine pop to the extreme. Really, really sunshiny, bubblegummy. It's not bad. It's just really, really heavy on the sunshine. I need to find a nicer copy of this, and probably will be donating this one to the Goodwill. And this is an album that Brian had in the store for a while. This is Van Morrison's St. Dominic's Preview. He had it marked for $7, and I wasn't quite willing to pay that for it. I thought I could find it cheaper, and when it was still there with 50% off, it was $3.50, and I didn't hesitate on that. That was a great price for it. Really good stuff. I'm a big Van Morrison fan. I don't have Astro Weeks or Moondance yet, and haven't even listened to them all the way through because I want to wait until I get them on vinyl to hear. But as far as like Tupelo Honey, or Van Morrison and his Street Choir, anything like that, I'm a big fan of, and this is right in that same line, same kind of sound as those records. So I was really happy to pick this up, and this is one that's going to be spun a lot here. And last but not least, from Brian's store, this is the New York Dolls self-titled album. He had this originally marked at $20, which is a fair price for it. It's in really nice shape. The vinyl's near mint. The record cover's a strong BG+. So for $10, on the half-off sale, absolutely. I was really happy to score that for that. Some glam rock featuring Mr. Johnny Thunders, who later went on to be the Heartbreakers, of course, which I showed one of their records in a recent video live at Max's, Kansas City. So I've got the original LP that kind of started it all. So really happy to have this in the collection finally. This next stack is going to be from GB's in Decatur, Illinois. And first up we have Liz Damon's Orient Express, self-titled. I think she looks remarkably like Emma Stone on the cover here, which is not a bad thing. The first song on the album is 1900 Yesterday, which was kind of their big hit. These guys were a vocal pop group from Hawaii, which more than borders on lounge music, kind of a Hawaiian lounge feel to it. Not an unenjoyable album, surprisingly. I thought I was not going to like this, but I don't know. It hit the right level of kitsch for me, I guess, that made it really tolerable and enjoyable. This was pretty good, actually. Then we have The Outsiders with Happening Live. This was $3. I don't know if I said that Liz Damon was $1. I really like the Happenings. Some nice kind of garage pop, a little more on the pop side in some of their albums, a little heavier on garage on others. And this live album kind of borders on both. There's some really nice pop numbers, but then on a couple numbers they really kind of let loose and has kind of a nice garage feel to it. But this was a nice clean copy, and for a price that I couldn't pass it on. This is another $3 find. This is Show of Hands, formerly Anthrax, is the title of the album, and that's actually accurate, an accurate description of the band. They were formerly known as Anthrax and became Show of Hands. This is an album I picked up mainly because I see it at Vintage Vinyl a lot for like 10 to 15 bucks, and this was $3, so I picked it up. It's like a jazz rock album, basically. A little bit kind of a proggish sound. Maybe some slight flourishes on some of the songs, but not really. Kind of just more jazz, prog rock stuff. They do kind of an interesting cover, though, of Van Morrison's Moondance on here, which is pretty interesting. Not a bad album, especially if you're into like jazz rock. This was pretty good stuff. And this is on the Electro 4000 series, so I had to pick it up. Sticking with that jazz rock, sort of prog-leaning stuff, this is Bangor Flying Circus, their self-titled album. There's a guy in the front. If anybody knows who David Krumholtz is, he's sort of in the Judd Apatow group of guys, but he was the star of the show Numbers. The guy in the front looks amazingly like him. So we've got an Emma Stone doppelganger and a David Krumholtz doppelganger, so I don't know. But this is definitely jazz rock influenced stuff. Definitely more psych influences on this one, though, which made it much more enjoyable for me. I do enjoy some jazz rock, but psych is right in my wheelhouse, so this kind of dabbled in both, and it was really good stuff. I enjoyed this one a lot. This was $10 and was worth every penny. And the last one from GB's, this is the Strawberry Alarm Clock, Good Morning Starshine, which was their cover of the song from the musical Hair. This is much different, though, than Incense and Peppermints. If you're familiar with that album or that song, don't expect it to be like this. That was kind of a light, airy psych pop album. This is much more a blues-influenced, kind of a hard rocker kind of album. Still very much a psych-influenced album, but these guys rock out a little bit more on this one, which was kind of interesting to hear. Hear them get a little bit harder edged on some of the tracks. Changes was good. Miss Attraction is really good. They do kind of a Miss Attraction and sort of a Miss Attraction reprise later on, but really good stuff. Very kind of a tough Strawberry Alarm Clock album to find. This was $13. It's got a little bit of a like, I don't know, like a cat chewed on it or something at the bottom there, but the vinyl was really clean, and $13 honestly was a great price for it. I feel like I kind of got a pretty good deal on that. So there you go. Alright, we're almost done, I promise. This last stack is from Vintage Vinyl in St. Louis. Just picked these up about a week or so ago, and we'll get started. Here we go. First up, we have Jojo Gunn, their self-titled album. This was $2.99, but everything there, $2.99 and under, was buy one, get one free, so I ended up buying a couple of those, so this is technically $1.50. I haven't listened to this yet, so I'm not positive, but I think it's a Southern rock album, which is fine with me. I'm actually a pretty big Southern rock fan. Late 60s to mid to late 70s Southern rock, I really enjoy a lot. So I'm pretty happy to pick this one up. It's in the Endless Trip as well, so that's kind of an added bonus, and we'll see what it sounds like. And this was my other $2.99 find that ended up being $1.50. This is Elvis Presley with Elvis, his second LP. Not a huge Elvis fan. I like some of his early stuff on Sun, his early RCA stuff, so pretty hopeful that I'll like this one. I actually haven't heard it, so yeah, let's see. Anything big that I know? There's a cover of Long Tall Sally, and that's about all I know off of this, so feigning complete ignorance on Elvis. So Elvis aficionados, please be kind in the comments below. Sorry. Then we have Lovecraft with Valley of the Moon. This is actually kind of the offshoot of H.P. Lovecraft after they disbanded. The only member left in the group at this point was the drummer, which I can't think of his name. It should be on the back. Michael Tegza, if I pronounce his name right. He was the drummer. H.P. Lovecraft broke up. He wanted to keep going, so they recorded this album. H.P. Lovecraft, definitely a psychedelic group. Would love to find some of their albums. They actually had a copy of H.P. Lovecraft's debut at Vintage Vinyl. It was like $30, and that's too rich for my blood. But this was $7, which, you know, I thought I'd take a chance on it. And it's good. More like a the Laurel Canyon kind of sound, like the band or Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, which I was not expecting, but it was kind of nice. It was kind of a light, folky, little bit of a psych flourish to the album, and it was really enjoyable stuff. Kind of hit that country folkish vibe that I kind of like too. So good stuff here. I actually found this in the dollar bin at Vintage Vinyl, and with the buy one get one, it was only 50 cents. This is the Amboy Dukes, Journey to the Center of the Mind. I was a little bit worried when I found it, pulled it out. It had some old tape at the top that I cannot get off for the life of me. You can see it more on the back here, if you can see that in the video. I don't know, but no, this is a fantastic album. Yeah, pulled the album out, looked pretty rough, took it home anyway for 50 cents, you know, why not? Cleaned it up, played it all the way through, and it sounds excellent. I mean, these guys rock pretty hard, so the music kind of overpowers any noise that may be coming through. Really good stuff. Hard psych, not like a Blue Cheer, not like that blues hard psych, early heavy metal sound, but more just, they rock, you know. They, lots of guitar solos from Ted Nugent, giant douchebag, but, you know, his politics and mine aside, the music is really good. And he claims that he never did drugs, and I believe him if he says it, and didn't really know what they were about. But I mean, look at the album cover. Tons of bongs and pipes on there. Ted, you had to know a little bit of what was going on with the group, right? I mean, but anyway, again, Ted aside, the music is fantastic. This was on my want list for a very long time. I'm really happy to mark that off. Kind of a mini grail for me, if you will. This is the last of my $2.99 / $1.50 finds. This is Procol Harum with A Salty Dog. I showed their debut album that I picked up at the last St. Louis record show, which is a fantastic kind of a pop, baroque pop, psych-ish album. Kind of a hard one to nail down. Just really good stuff. This is right in line with it. This is their third album. Has the same sort of feel to it. A Salty Dog, the opening track, very much has a whiter shade of pale feel to it. The musicianship on here is fantastic. I can't recommend this album enough. If you're into pop, 60s pop especially, with a little bit of psych leanings or whatever you want to call it, prog even on this album, but fantastic stuff. Sort of like, I would put Procol Harum's debut album, and even this one, this was fantastic. I'd put those up there pretty high with like the Zombies, Odyssey and Oracle, and some of those other pop masterpieces, Pet Sounds, you know, whatever. Great stuff. Definitely worth picking up, and you can usually find this cheap. And speaking of pop masterpieces, huge grail off my want list. This is the Kinks Are the Village Green Preservation Society. Normally, I don't find a lot of good Kinks stuff at record stores, and I got really lucky with this. This was in the back of a pile of, you know, Schoolboys in Disguise or Schoolboys in Disgrace. I can never remember the title of that album. And some like weird 80s import greatest hits albums of the Kinks. This happened to be sitting in there. It was $20, $19.99. You know, a little sticker right there. So I just thought it was a reissue, but I wasn't aware of any reissues. So I pulled it up to take a closer look. Saw that it had some wear to it. It's actually in really nice shape. And pulled the label out just to take a look, and it's the all gold or all brown, whatever you want to call it, Reprise label. So I knew it wasn't a first pressing, but it looks like, from what I can tell, it's a 1972 repress that usually goes for about $40. So I got kind of a steal on this one as well, but yeah, for $20 I didn't hesitate. This is amazing. This is a fantastic album. You'll hear a lot about, you know, it showing up on greatest lists and things like that. I know I mentioned Procol Harum's debut album being up there with like the Zombies, Odyssey, and Oracle. Kinks Village Green is above, you know, the Procol Harum stuff, and is up there with Odyssey and Oracle for me as well. This is amazing. This is an absolute masterpiece of an album. If you find a copy in any form, CD, MP3, YouTube, whatever, give it a listen. You won't be disappointed. It's fantastic. That's going to be it for this Vinyl Finds video. It takes care of all the record store finds I had in September and October. But I appreciate you guys sticking with me and leaving any comments. I really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you later. See you guys.